The world needs more Paddington. Just a simple movie with a concise message to make you feel all warm inside. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Paddington in Peru. As an American, I had pretty little exposure to Paddington growing up. Maybe I had a couple of his books as a child, but I really don't remember. I obviously knew who the character was, but I had no knowledge of any of the character's origin or any of his adventures. So when the first film released back in 2014, that was my first real exposure. And I loved it. I loved the sequel even more. It's crazy because when the trailer for the first film released, I didn't really have a ton of interest in it. Then I saw all of the reviews and the audience reactions coming out, and suffice to say, I'm a fan. So much so that while my wife and I were in England a few years later, I made it a point to buy my niece an authentic stuffed Paddington from King's Cross Station. This film franchise is just the quintessential family saga. And while you don't get narratives that are overly complex or inspired, what you do get are breezy, emotional, enjoyable, and extremely well-produced family comedies. And Paddington in Peru is no different. The third entry in this franchise is nearly as good as the two that came before it. This movie is so much fun. It's enjoyable, it's funny, the new characters are great, and as much as I love the London backdrop, it was fun to go on an international adventure with Paddington and the Brown family, back to his home country of Peru. And to actually go there as well. This film was actually shot in and around Peru as well as Colombia, so kudos for the producers actually allowing the production to go on location for such a simple, silly family movie. That right there just shows how much respect this studio has for this product and this character. And the movie looks great. They shot out on Machu Picchu, which is wild, also just quite impressive. The narrative is pretty straightforward. Aunt Lucy goes missing, and Paddington and the Browns set out on an adventure with a boat captain and his daughter across the Amazon to find and rescue her. And in the end, Paddington discovers the place from where he actually comes, a tribe of bears that live inside the mystic El Dorado. And along the way, he discovers the place that he is meant to call home is with the Brown family. It's nothing that will wow you, but it's good, and it packs an emotional punch, especially towards the end. The CGI is as good as it always is. Paddington looks incredible, as well as all of the other supporting bear casts, and Ben Whishaw was born to play this role. I really enjoyed the addition of Banderas and Olivia Colman as the two new villains. They both look like they just had a ton of fun playing these characters and just hamming it up all over the screen. I will say that the drawbacks of this one compared to the other two are that I think the Browns get sidelined quite a bit in this one. We don't get as much of that family dynamic as we did in the first two, as a lot of the time is dedicated to Bandera's backstory, which is good, but it came at a cost. Secondly, I like Coleman's character, but we don't get a ton of depth to her. You kind of suspect her character as one of the main villains, but it's sort of vague, and when we finally fully realize it, it's just so late in the movie that it doesn't have as much of an impact as it should. She's still very good, but she doesn't quite rank as high as Kidman or Grant for me. This one is sort of just a nitpick, and I'm not even sure why it happened, but Emily Mortimer took over the role of Mrs. Brown for Sally Hawkins. And she isn't bad at all, but you definitely feel sort of a void whenever she's on screen or when she's interacting with Paddington. I really enjoyed Hawkins' presence in these films, and it's a shame that they couldn't get her back. Overall, if you're looking for a quick, fun time at the movies that will leave you emotionally satisfied and entertained, especially if you're looking for a fun weekend activity that the whole family can enjoy in the dead of winter. Check out Paddington in Peru. It's a ton of fun, and it's another solid entry in this franchise that has just been firing on all cylinders since its inception.